the possibility of rethinking Islamic political thought, and indeed even rethinking the Sharia, seems to me to be very important. And there I'm in complete agreement with you. And I believe that this is something which is already beginning to happen in various ways, even within the Middle East itself. The possibility that certain aspects of what people immediately think of as the Sharia can be changed actually has already been done, as we know. If you think about the abolition of slavery, which used to be taken for granted even in the Sharia in the Middle Ages, there is now no country, no Muslim country, which officially accepts slavery. And this has had to be rethought, and this has had to be conceded as something which goes against, as it were, moral bases. But there is a more general point, and I think it's an interesting point, and that is clearly the Sharia itself may have certain problems about about principles that may conflict with the notion of human rights, particularly the notion of equality, for example. We know that although there are many, many good things about the Sharia, and by the way, I liked your reference to the fact that people think that somehow the Sharia is virtually, nothing but stoning adulteresses and cutting off hands, whereas in fact there's a lot in the Sharia which is consistent with many of the principles of human rights. Nevertheless, there is something also about the Sharia which ought, in my view, also to be further explored, and I don't know whether you would agree with that, and that's beyond the question of maqasid, the question of ahliyat al-wujub, that is of a certain legal capacity, which in an important sense all persons, according to the Sharia, have. There is a kind of universal acceptance, and this is truly a universal principle, if you like, and that is that everybody, even those who are unequal, even men and women who have had conventionally and traditionally inequality, nevertheless they each have a certain legal capacity and certain, if you like, inalienable rights. They may not be equal rights in the way in which human rights thinks of them, but nevertheless they are rights. And even now that we don't have slaves, but even slaves had certain rights, and a master had to abide by those rights. And I think this is something which needs to, we could think a little more about. But so there are various ways, and I do agree completely with you about the need for rethinking, and there are so many different questions that arise in that context, which I'm sure you want to expand on. But the separation of politics and, or rather, a separation of the state and politics, state and religion, but not of religion and politics, as you point out. And that's interesting. And in a way, it seems to me suggestive to make it possible for religious principles, religious beliefs, to come into the public sphere